What's up, guys? So for all the resources I offer about charging what you're worth and setting yourself up for financial success in private practice, I know that so many therapists are still undercharging big time. And I get it because I've been there. So in this video, I cover some of the major reasons why therapists tend not to charge what they're worth and help offer you some tips to overcome them. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. So when I started private practice as an intern back in 2012, market rate for my experience level as well as my location was about $120 per session. So when my supervisor proposed that I set my rate at $120 an hour, I nearly all but vetoed that option. I was thinking, oh, I should be able to charge something like $50 an hour. Now looking back on that, I realize how miserable of an existence it would have been for me if I had actually charged that little. But I know so many therapists also fall into this same tendency. Why do we do this to ourselves? Here are some of the top reasons that I've seen for why therapists tend to charge less than what they're worth. Number one, emotional reasons. I think this is hands down the biggest barrier to therapists charging what they're worth in private practice. And in fact, I think this is such an important topic that I've teamed up with financial therapy expert Lindsay Bryan-Podvin of Mind Money Balance, who's filmed a video all about the emotional barriers to charging what you're worth and how to overcome them. I've linked to Lindsay's video up here as well as in the description box. All the things she covers are all things that I really needed to hear when I was getting started in private practice and really can apply to all of us entrepreneurs, and I'd say especially women. Number two, lack of financial education. You know how I said I was thinking I should be charging $50 a session when I first got started in private practice? Well, I thought back then that I could pocket that entire $50. Oh, to be 25 and naive again. But as it turns out, that $50 would barely cover overhead costs, let alone the taxes, retirement, benefits, and all the other things that come out of our pay before we cut ourselves a paycheck. And it's also important to take into consideration all the time we spend on bookkeeping, marketing, and documentation, which is time we spend that we're not charging our clients for. So in the end, that $120 an hour that I was charging probably came out to something like $50 an hour in my pocket after all was said and done. Number three, stigma. Both in my own graduate school experience as well as when I taught graduate level MFT students, there was this huge stigma around earning more than a basic living wage. Somehow we have this culture, we've fostered a belief that for those of us in the helping profession, if we truly want to make a difference in people's lives, then we can't earn more than a bare minimum in order for it to be genuine. But this is just straight up not true, and there's a couple of issues to address related to this stigma. First, if we have to constantly grind just in order to put food on the table, then we inevitably burn out. And burnt out therapists make for bad therapists. Furthermore, when we burn out, we model that behavior for our clients and we end up fostering the culture for the people around us as well. Second, if we charge less than what we're worth, then people will question our capacity to help them. They're going to assume that we're charging less because we're not good enough to charge more. And what this does is it will either leave empty slots in your calendar, or for those people who are on your schedule, they won't be fully bought into the therapy process. Number four, gender socialization. This message is for us ladies. I know many of us are taught not to be big earners. Whether it's that we're taught that we shouldn't be earning as much as the men in our lives, or we believe that we're not as capable as men in order to earn, or maybe it's just that we don't have the mindset of seeking to earn what we're worth. Whatever the case may be, this is a huge issue in our culture and one that I'm really hoping to shift, and I hope you'll join me. I know with baby girl on the way due in August, I can't stand the idea of her growing up believing that she's less capable or that her skills are less valuable simply because she's a woman. And that fires me up more than anything else to make sure I know what I'm worth and to act like it so I can model that for her. And I hope you all will rally and join with me as well. I got so fired up that I ran out of breath. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list for why therapists might be charging less than what they're worth, but I think most of us can relate with at least one item from this list. Now, if you're having trouble figuring out the practical side of how to set your rate so that you're charging what you're worth, I have a video breaking down all the how-tos you need to keep track of so that you can set your rate and anticipate how much income you can expect to earn. And a huge thank you to Lindsay Bryan-Podvin of Mind Money Balance for teaming up with me and making this video. Go check out her channel. She has lots of helpful tools all about destigmatizing how we go about our finances so that you can have a healthier approach to money, which we all need more of in our lives. Leave a comment below and let me know what sorts of barriers have kept you from charging what you're worth in private practice. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well. A basic living wage when we're lurking. Don't be lurking. That's weird. If you can set to see if you could